Parenting is the hardest job, and there is not a close second. Raising high-performing teen athletes or performers? That's a high-stakes job. I'm Nate Crandall, joined by fellow certified high-performance coach Steve Galley. We coach ambitious parents like you, and also your high-performing teens, because when you both level up, connection and results don't just improve, they multiply. Welcome to the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast. We have some burning questions for you.
Are you really telling me to stop parenting and start coaching?
You know what, Steve? I am. What do you
Well,
think
listen
about that?
here, pal.
We've got to pal already. This is going to be a great episode.
Well, is it okay if I be a little ornery?
Oh, please, pal.
Yeah. I mean, every once in a while, you're cranky Crandall, so I'm going to be
Grumpy Galley.
Yeah,
Yes.
There we go. Yeah. Do you know, I used to have a grumpy hat. This was back when I was coaching basketball, and my kids bought it for me at
Kids
Disneyland.
or players?
My family.
Your
Yeah,
family?
they bought it. Yeah. Because we would be there at the happiest place on earth, and it would be summertime, but I would be thinking about some game in February.
Mm-hmm.
The past February. Maybe we threw the ball to the other team too much or something like that. Or maybe we made a mistake. Do I dare say Duke Blue Devils the day
That hurts me.
after? That hurts you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
This brutal.
If you're listening to this later or whatever, this is March
The day
30th,
after the apocalypse.
2026 when
The day after the apocalypse struck Durham,
Yes.
North Carolina.
Okay, but back to the subject at hand.
Yes. I am
We
telling you to do that.
sometimes, this isn't the first time we've discussed this, but
No.
we sometimes really get some pushback from parents when they look at the title of our podcast or
Mhm.
they hear us start to explain that you really should stop parenting your teen and start coaching. So I'm just going to throw you right on stage, right into the hot seat. What-
Love the hot seat.
What do you really mean? What do we really mean? And why is this a sound parenting philosophy?
Well, what we really mean, and we totally get it because it does sound a little bit odd. We're not telling you to stop being their parents. However, what we are inviting you to do is look at your approach. Because the approach that we have when kids are kids is very different than an approach that works well when they're teens. Ultimately, as parents, we want our kids to grow into the most amazing, wonderful people that they can be. And we see the potential in them, and it gets really frustrating when we see them falling short of that, and we want to make them do it. And what we often do to try to propel them in the direction of that potential is we go back to what worked when they were little. When your 5-year-old doesn't want to put on the shoes, you get a little tough with them, and you can do that. And it works pretty well. As they get older, some of the principles apply. You still have to have boundaries. You still have to be their parent. You still have to do that job, and you still have to bring tough love to the table. But because they're growing into their own people, the approach shifts. And now that they are capable of comprehending themselves, thinking about their thinking deeper about things, creating their own set of values, creating their own purpose in life, having their own dreams and chasing those, that needs a different approach. And when we as parents shift our approach from the same style of approach to what worked when they were younger, to an approach where we're asking them questions and inviting them to think deeper about their own thinking and to plan, prepare, assess, do those things on their own. Those are new skills, and they need somebody that coaches them more than parents them.
Well said, sir.
What questions did I leave on the table with that?
Well, I've got one that I continue to be asked. You continue to be asked. This is a real pain point amongst people that we work with, which are, I think, a fair way to describe the people that we work with are parents, families, teenagers that are high achievers, go-getters.
High expectations,
High expectations.
high effort. hardworking.
Right. But from the parents' standpoint, they feel like their son or daughter is not reaching their full potential. And
Yeah.
this could be on stage, on the court, on the field, in the classroom. They look at their teens and they love them, they support them, they're helping them, they're trying to provide them every opportunity. But as a parent, they stand back and think, "Oh my gosh, Nate could just if Nate could just," and then fill in the
Fill in the
blank with
blank.
all sorts of things. He would be so they stand back and they feel like they're watching this time slip away because there is a time factor here. You only
Yes.
have a few years left together in these teen years, and as a parent, you understand that, and you want them to take advantage of this limited time. So, what would you say to the parent as far as that's watching their teen and thinking they're not reaching their full potential? How does our man, I almost lassoed myself with the headphone cord there. How does the stop parenting to start coaching philosophy help a parent who feels helpless?
It this is where it gets really hard. This is like the transactional versus transformational approach. And people sometimes think the transformational approach is soft. It's slow. And we recognize that. When you coach your kids, when you take more of that coaching approach, it may feel soft. It may feel a little bit like you're just kind of sitting back. And that bothers people that are really driven and motivated because they want results and they get the results, and that's what they do at work and they're successful there. And this is how we've always done things. And there's an element that you can bring to your kids with that, but it's always acknowledging that they're their own person. And as a parent, my job is more about helping them to become that person, but they get to choose who that person is. And like, these are frustrating things. And so I understand why there's some pushback on this, because it's not a cookie cutter approach. It's not a assembly line thing that people can do and you can just crank out great kids. Each interaction, each child gets a different tweak to the approach. But what we're inviting people to do is approach their kids with the mentality of each one of them is a unique and special individual that's creating a beautiful purpose for themselves and for the world. And as a parent, if I try too hard to parent them, I may not help them to become that. And that can be hard to hear.
For sure. And if you don't take that approach, if you do push, like you're used to work,
Yeah.
where you will get results, you will often create friction with your teen. This is another thing that we hear. In fact, I've heard it twice this week from two different parents. And they said the F word.
Friction.
But friction, yes, they said that F word. They said friction, which is a good word to describe this relationship. And so by coaching more and parenting in quotes less, you have a chance to remove that friction. And when that friction gets lessened or removed, because I think you can get rid of it. But if you don't get totally rid of it, I think you can dramatically lower it. Then all of a sudden, the teen, in my opinion, feels more liberated, feels more freed up. They are going to perform better. They're going to do better in school. Your conversations are going to be dramatically improved.
Yeah. So much of this is rooted in the psychology of self-determination theory that, simply put, states that human motivation is driven by three main things: autonomy, mastery or competence, and then connection, the relationships that we have. And as our kids grow up and they become teens, they need those things. And many times parents handcuff their kids' autonomy without realizing it, because the kids feel handcuffed from that autonomy standpoint. That's what creates some of that friction. And so when you put the lubricant on there of having these connections where you're having a conversation, you're asking more questions, it can soothe some of that friction. It allows you to still be the parent, but because the communication lines are better and you're working to help your son or daughter develop their autonomy, and they know it, if they feel like they're the driving force in their life, they become a little more receptive to some of the parenting that you need to provide. And so the coaching actually allows you to hold boundaries better, to have better conversations, to help increase understanding. And so you understand your kids better too, which also helps lubricate the situation and reduce the friction.
Love it. I don't know if I can add anything to it. In fact, I know I can't add anything better than what you just said. So
Did I
let's put a
set the
bow
nerd
on it.
timer off?
No, we're done. We're at like 11 minutes and
I love
we're
it.
finished up here. I do have a surprise for our listeners
Yes,
and
sir.
watchers,
Yes,
but
sir.
I'm not going to tell until next week.
Oh.
We do have a special announcement to make though, Nate, and we will be doing that next Monday. I do want to invite the parents to do something though, besides stop parenting and start coaching, and that is follow us on LinkedIn. You can follow if you just look up Steve Galley on LinkedIn. That's where we are posting about this whole crazy stop parenting and start coaching thing. And you can follow us there. You can also find us on YouTube. The name of our channel is the name of our podcast, the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching Podcast. So we hope that you will tune in there, find some episodes that you like, share them with your friends, and we will see everybody next week.
Nate Crandall and Steve Galley would like to thank you for tuning in to this episode. If you love what you're experiencing and learning from the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast, please like, comment, and or leave a glowing review of this episode and the show. And to further help Nate and Steve expand their reach and impact thousands of parents, athletes, and performers, please share the show and subscribe to the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast channel on YouTube. And if you want to explore further to see what Nate and Steve are creating to help parents of athletes and performers everywhere, please visit their website at createtransformbecome.com. That's createtransformbecome, all one word, .com. There you will find a growing number of tools and resources to help you elevate your parenting. Thanks again for tuning in. Now go create a magical relationship with your athlete or performer.